Yo, what's up? Alright, today I'm gonna continue reading the book. So, yesterday I left at the page 25, which I'm gonna continue today from Lenny stared hopelessly at his hands. Okay, I forgot, George. Yeah, you forgot. You always forget, huh? I forget. And I got to talk you, and I got to talk you out of it. He sat down heavily on the bunk. Now he's got his eye on us. Now we got to be careful and not make no slips. You keep your big flapper shut after this. He fell morosely silent. George, what do you want now? I wasn't kicked in the head with no horse. Was I, George? Be a damn good thing if you was, George said viciously. Save everybody a hell of a lot of trouble. You said I was your cousin, George. Well, that was a lie. And I'm damn glad it was. If I was a relative of yours, I'd shoot myself. He stopped suddenly, stepped to the open front door, and peered out. Say, what the hell you doing listening? What the hell you doing listening? The old man came slowly into the room. He had his broom in his hand, and at his heels there walked a drag-footed sheepdog, gray of muzzle, and with pale, blind old eyes. The dog struggled lamely to the side of the room and lay down, grunting softly to himself and licking his grizzled, moth-eaten coat. The swamper watched him until he was settled. I wasn't listening. I was just standing in the shade a minute scratching my dog. I just now finished swamping out the wash house. You was poking your big ears into your business, George said. I don't like nobody to get nosy. The old man looked uneasily from George to Lenny, and then back. I just come there, he said. I didn't hear nothing you guys was saying. I ain't interested in nothing you was saying. A guy on a ranch don't never listen nor he ain't ask no questions. Damn right he don't, said George, slightly mollified. Not if he wants to stay working long. But he was reassured by the swamper's defense. Come on in and sit down a minute, he said. That's a hell of an old dog. Yeah, I hadn't ever since he was a pup. God, he was a good sheepdog when he was younger. He stood his broom against the wall and he rubbed his white, bristled cheek with his knuckles. How do you like the boss? He asked. Pretty good. Seemed alright. He's a nice fella, the swamper agreed. You got to take him right. At that moment, a young man came into the bunkhouse. A thin young man with a brown face, with brown eyes, and a head of tightly curled hair. He wore a glove in his left hand, and like the boss, he wore high-heeled boots. Seen my old man? He asked. The swamper said. He was here just a minute ago. Curly went over the cook house, I think. I'll try to catch him, said Curly. His eyes passed over the new man, and he stopped. He glanced coldly at George, and then at Lenny. His arms gradually bent at the elbows, and his hands closed into fists. He stiffened and went into a slight crouch. His glance was at once calculating and pugnacious. Lenny skirmed under the look and shifted his feet nervously. Curly stepped gingerly close to him. You the new guys, the old man was waiting for. We just come in, said George. Let the big guy talk. Lenny twisted with embarrassment. George said, suppose he don't want to talk? Curly lashed his body around. By Christ, he's gonna talk. He's gotta talk. When he's spoke to. What the hell are you getting into it for? We traveled together, said George coldly. So? Oh, so it's that way. George was tense and motionless. Yeah, it's that way. Lenny was looking hopelessly to George for instruction. And you won't let the big guy talk, is that it? He can talk if he wants to tell you anything. Nodded slightly to Lenny. We just come in, said Lenny softly. Curly stared levelly at him. Well, next time you answer when you're spoke to. He turned toward the door and walked down, and his elbows were still bent out a little. George watched him out, and then he turned back to the swamper. Say, what the hell is he got on his shoulder? And he didn't do anything to him. The old man looked cautiously at the door to make sure no one was listening. That's the boss' son, he said quietly. Curly's pretty handy. He done quite a bit in the rain. He's lightweight and he's handy. Well, let him be handy, said George. He don't have to take after Lenny. Lenny didn't do nothing to him. What's he got against Lenny? The swamper considered. Well, tell you what, Curly's like a lot of little guys. He hates big guys. He's a lot of time picking scraps with big guys. Kind of like he's mad at him because he ain't a big guy. You seen little guys like that and you always scrappy? Sure, said George. I've seen plenty tough little guys, but this Curly better not make no mistakes about Lenny. Lenny ain't Henny. But this Curly bunk is gonna get hurt if he messes around with Lenny. Well, Curly's pretty handy, the swamper said skeptically. Never did seem right to me. Suppose Curly jumps a big guy and licks him. Everybody says what a game guy Curly is, and suppose he does the same thing and gets licked. Then everybody says a big guy oughta pick somebody his own size, and maybe they gone up on a big guy. Never did seem right to me. Seems like Curly ain't giving nobody a chance. George was watching the door. He said ominously, well, he better watch out for Lenny. Lenny ain't no fighter, but Lenny is strong and quick, and Lenny don't know no rules. He walked to the square table and sat down on one of the boxes. He gathered some of the cards together and shuffled them. The old man sat down on another box. Don't tell Curly I said none of this. He'd slug me. He just don't give a damn. We'll never get canned. Cause his old man's the boss. George cut the cards and began turning them over, looking at each one and throwing it down in a pile. He said, this guy Curly sounds like a son of a bitch to me. I don't like mean little guys. Seemed to me he's worse lately. said the Swamper. He got married a couple of weeks ago. Wife lives over in the boss house. Seems like Curly is cockier ever since he got married. George grunted. Maybe he's slow enough for his wife. The Swamper warmed to his gossip. You seen that glove on his left hand? Yeah, I seen it. Well, that glove's full of Vaseline. Vaseline. Vaseline? What the hell for? Well, I tell you what, Curly says he's keeping that hand soft for his wife. George studied the cards absorbedly. That's a third thing to turn around, he said. The old man was reassured. He had drawn a derogatory statement from George. He felt safe now, and he spoke more confidently. Where'd you see Curly's wife? George cut the card again and put out a solitaire lay, slowly and deliberately. Purty? He asked casually. Yeah, Purty, but George studied his cards. But what? Well, she got the eye. Yeah, married 2 weeks and got the eye? Maybe that's why Curly's pants is full of ants. I seen her give Slim the eye. Slim's a jerkline Skinner. Hell of a nice fella. Sam don't need to wear no high-heeled boots on a great team. I seen her give Slim the eye. Curly never seen it. And I seen her give Carson the eye. George pretended lack of interest. Looks like we was gonna have fun. The Swamper stood up from his box. Know what I think? George did not answer. Well, I think Curly's married a tart. He ain't the first, said George. There's plenty done that. The old man moved toward the door, and his ancient dog lifted his head and peered about, and then got painfully to his feet to follow. I gotta be sitting out of a wedge business for the guys. The teams will be in before long. You guys gonna back Barley? Yeah? You won't tell Curly nothing I said. Hell no. Well, you look her over, mister. You see if she ain't a tard. He stepped out the door into a brilliant sunshine. How many pages did I write? 5 pages? Okay, one more page. George laid down his cards thoughtfully, turned his piles of 3. He built 4 clubs on his ace pile, and Sun Square was on the floor now, and the flies whipped through it, like sparks. A sound of jingling harness and the crack of heavy laden axles sounded from outside. From the distance came a clear call. Stable buck. Oh, stable buck. And then, where the hell is that goddamn nigger? Edward. George stared at his solitary lay. And then he flounced the cards together and turned around to Lenny. Lenny was lying down on the bunk watching him. Look, Lenny, this here ain't no setup. I'm scared. You gonna have trouble with that Curly guy. I seen that kind before. It was kind of feeding you out. He figures he's got you scared, and he's gonna take a sock at you the first chance he gets. Lenny's eyes were frightened. I don't want no trouble, he said plaintively. Don't let him sock me, George. sock. George got up and went over to Lenny's bunk, and sat down on it. I hate that kind of bastard, he said. I seen plenty of them, like the old guy says. Curly don't take no chances. He always wins. Thought for a moment, if he tangles with you, Lenny, we're gonna get the can. Don't make no mistakes about that. He's the boss' son. Look, Lenny, you try to keep away from him. Will you? Don't never speak to him. If he comes in here, you move clear to the other side of the moon. Will you do that, Lenny? I don't want no trouble, Lenny mourned. I never done nothing to him. Well, that won't do you no good if Curly wants to plug himself for a fighter. Just don't have nothing to do with him. Will you remember? Sure, George. I ain't gonna say a word. Alright, that's for today. And if you like the video, please subscribe. And I left it at the page 31. So next time I'm gonna continue reading from the Son of the Approaching Green Team Loud. Yeah. So that's for today. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.